I remember drifting through high school like a ghost. Classes felt empty. Nothing really clicked. I'd stare at the board while my mind wandered somewhere else. At home, I buried the quiet boredom with video games and endless shows. That stretch of my life felt stuck. I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing. I just didn't care. But somewhere in that fog, something shifted. I signed up for a philosophy class. The teacher was different. He cared. He didn't just teach. He believed in what he said. He read books out loud, showed us movies that stirred something. It wasn't instant, but over time it got through to me. I started reading on my own, and slowly I felt like I was waking up. I don't follow a single philosophy or religion, but I do live with more clarity. Now more purpose. I've read over 100 philosophy books since then. Some stick with me more than others. They changed how I see life and myself. These are the ones that left the deepest mark. Ishmael is a novel that starts strangely. A man answers an ad for a teacher, but the teacher is a telepathic gorilla, and this gorilla believes humanity is heading toward collapse because of a story we've told ourselves, that we must conquer nature, that we're separate from it. It's a quiet but powerful challenge to our way of thinking. The book doesn't scream, it whispers, and it lingers. We still live by that myth. We still see nature as something to control, and that belief might be what destroys us. Aristotle saw everything in life as having a purpose, including us. For humans, he said, our purpose is to use reason, and through reason, we can live virtuously. His idea of virtue isn't about rules, it's about balance, not too much, not too little. Courage, for example, sits between cowardice and recklessness. He called it the golden mean. It's not a fixed point. It depends on who you are and what you're facing. You can apply it to your everyday life, how you act in meetings, how you handle conflict, how much you speak or stay quiet. Philosophy, for Aristotle, was lived, not just studied. Buddhism can feel overwhelming at first. Over the centuries, it's grown into many schools and paths, but at its heart, it speaks of suffering, of craving, of the illusion of a fixed self. We chase things, people, identities, thinking they'll give us peace. But the more we cling, the more we hurt. There is a path out, though. Buddhist teachings help you see clearly. They teach you to let go of attachment, of ego, of the need to be someone. Zen goes even further. It asks you to drop all concepts, even the idea of self or the moment. It's not about finding peace through thought, but beyond it. Simone de Beauvoir took existentialism one step further. She believed we build our essence through choice, but so do others. And we forget that. We see others as stuck, fixed in who they are. Worse, we treat people as things, tools, obstacles. She says we owe each other more than that. We must let people be free, free to grow, to change, especially those the world is quickest to define, like women. Her ideas shaped modern feminism. And they still matter. The courage to be disliked is a conversation between a student and a philosopher. It pulls from the teachings of Adler and shows you how to live with purpose, not by fixing the past, but by choosing who you want to be now. It talks about love, work, relationships, growth, but most of all it's about courage. The courage to let go of being liked, to stop living for approval and start living with intention. Crime and punishment follows a man who kills, not in rage, not in defense, but because he thinks he's above the rules. He tells himself the murder is justified for the greater good. But after the act, his mind spirals. No amount of logic can protect him from guilt. The novel explores morality, suffering, and the idea of who gets left behind in times of change. It's heavy, but unforgettable. The Stranger is about a man who doesn't pretend. He doesn't fake sadness, or meaning, or belief, and the world punishes him for it. His emptiness becomes his crime. Camus uses this story to explore life's absurdity, our search for meaning in a world that offers none. It's not uplifting, but it's real. Nietzsche feared that when we stopped believing in God, we'd lose all meaning. We'd distract ourselves, shrink into comfort. He called this state the last man. His answer, become more. The Übermensch, a person who embraces life in full, not just the joy, but the pain too, someone who creates their own values. It's a call to self-overcoming, to radical acceptance. Not easy, but powerful. Foundation is a science fiction novel, but also a deep philosophical one. A mathematician predicts that society is heading toward collapse, but he has a plan. Create two hidden foundations to guide humanity through the chaos. It raises big questions. Is it right to manipulate people for the greater good? Can science predict the future of entire civilizations? What happens to free will in a system built on control? These books aren't just ideas, they're mirrors. They force you to look inward, to question, to grow. Philosophy won't always give you answers, but it will change the way you live the questions.